we developed this sort of simple technique that involved a kitchen timer. And the one he had at the time was one of those little plastic tomato-shaped ones. So he called it the Pomodoro technique. Pomodoro means tomato in Italian. So sort of this little tomato timer technique. And the basic idea is that you set aside work and break times, and you switch off between those. And so this one technique, set a timer for 25 minutes. You stay focused on whatever your work task is. And then when that timer rings, you set another timer for 5 minutes and take a break. And then you repeat the cycle. And you do that for about 2 hours, just back and forth. And at that point, you take a longer break, maybe half an hour, get something to eat. And so this is something that I have experimented with on and off, and it's been helpful for me. And so I do sort of a modified version of it. It's a bit simpler. I don't schedule the longer breaks really. I just kind of go back and forth between the work and the short breaks until something happens. I feel like scheduling my day that much, to that extent, where I'm like, okay, this is going to be my 30-minute break. That doesn't work for me in practice. So I'm going to show you like a really simple way you can use just a Linux shell script to implement a timer for the Pomodoro technique. This was something that I thought would be a good fit for new members. I don't know how many new members we have here, but just something to show off, like a simple but practical thing you can do with shell scripting. So I'm going to go ahead and just walk through this. It's a really, really simple program. Basically the simplest possible thing you can imagine that actually has any practical use. I'm just share the screen.
You mute your speakers. You want me to mute my speakers? You should, or whoever's laptop does. Sounds like it's yours.
Okay, hopefully that works. I just pushed the button that says mute. So let's see. So make a new file here, and I'm going to make a shebang line to indicate that this is a shell script. And so the core two things we're going to be doing are going between a work session and a break session. Yeah. Is that better?
Yeah.
All right. And so the way we're going to do this is, we just sort of need to indicate to the user when it's time to work and when it's time to take a break. So I use the freedesktop.org notification system for this, and that hooks in with my desktop environment. So if you were doing this for yourself, maybe you choose to use this, or maybe you choose to do something else. So I use the notify send command to do that, and I'm going to say like Pomodoro and in working, and like that. And then we're going to have some sort of delay time in here. So I'm just going to define some delays here. We're going to do 25 minutes for the work time and 5 minutes for the break time. And we'll just stick for that amount of time. That just is a delay. I'm also going to play a little sound. And I already downloaded some sounds here. Let's do.
Is the play command like a?
That is part of the SOX project. There's a few different programs you could use to do the same thing, but the SOX one is just really simple. So I like that. SOX. Yeah, and it stands for Sound Exchange. They have a bunch of sort of like conversion and transcode utilities, I think, that are also part of the project, but they should be utility called Play. Yes. I do, thank you.
So mute your mic if you can.
Mute my mic.
Is it on mute?
It's not even coming through.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Also, could you change the, I don't know if you're going to do start, but you change the timer so that we can see it?
I'm gonna do a trick for that. Yeah.
He's gonna speed up time.
And then the other thing we are gonna do here is we're just gonna put this in an infinite loop. All right. So, go ahead and save this. And so you can see in the bottom right corner, I got my little notification and now it's waiting. All this garbage on the screen is from the play command, and actually, I think I'm gonna go ahead and just make that.
What is EP?
That's my editor.
It's an editor?
Yeah.
Oh, EP?
Yeah. All right. Pomodoro?
No.
Technique?
What is EP?
Oh, it's just my text editor. Don't worry about it. So
Okay, run which EP and let us see the output.
So now we're in the working mode, and you heard my little sound here. I'm just gonna open up another terminal here. So right now the sleep command is running, and that's an external thing. So if I want to sort of cheat and skip ahead, we'll just do a kill all sleep. And you can see I skipped ahead to my break time.
It's pretty cool.
And do it again, and we're back to working. So just to accelerate time here. So anyway, so really, really simple thing. Most of you could probably write this in your sleep, but someone asked to see it recently, so I figured I'd show it off. And that's all I got.
Is that a custom notify service too?
Yeah, like how do you do the notify?
What do you mean? It's the freedesktop.org specification. So it'll work with most out-of-the-box desktop environments this way.
Including Waylands?
When I have to install your own,
Don't know about
I'm using Sway NC. There are other implementations as well.
Okay.
But don't you need to have like one running? You have to choose one, right?
Well, a lot of desktop environments have like a thing that listens for those.
Yeah. Which one? What is this then?
This is part of my window manager.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can run an external one if yours doesn't support that.
What am I saying? Hyperland doesn't have one. Neither does Neri. You have to use a standalone one. No, not by default.
What is code?
Did you write this in your measure yourself?
I did.
What's it called?
I just call it like WM. It doesn't have a fancy name. All right, cool. Evan, I think you are up.
You should call it Dwight. Don't worry about it. Right, that's Dwight.
Yeah, I gotta keep people on. You got fast. Oh man.
Are you still sharing? Oh, you're.
I just closed my last hour.
Well, it'll probably fall off eventually.
You can change it on my machine.
I can just kick him out. I'll just kick him out. It's fine.
Like if it doesn't say.
Okay.
The housing.
All right, guys, I'm going to show off my thing now. So I get a lot of spam texts for various reasons. Some of them are real estate brokers looking for property in my parents' hometown because they think I live there. And they always ask me about some specific property that I don't even own. Like once a week or something like that. And I get lots of calls. And so I was playing around with Olama, running it on a workstation locally. And I thought it would be fun to just, connect Olama to the spammer and just see what happens. And so I have a write-up. I'll show you some pictures of that. Maybe I can do a live demo. Maybe, I'm not sure. But I do have screenshots, so that's kind of close enough. Thank you. Yeah, so I have this write-up. Anyway, but here's like a typical, let me zoom in on this. I'll just talk about the screenshots. Yeah, this is like a typical example. That's my dad's name, and they're texting me. I think they just get my phone number off of like whitepages.com or similar sites, and then they just do that for everybody and just kind of mass text a bunch of people. So anyway, yeah, they're just asking me about some property. Am I interested in selling? So the first step is, how do I route SMS messages to Olama? There's not really a whole lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of SMS gateway applications that can, say, take a message when you receive one and forward it to some HTTP endpoint. But going the other way, most of them can't do that. And so I was having trouble finding something. I did end up eventually finding someone's kind of example repo of an Android app that uses MQTT to do this, except it had a problem where it will receive messages over MQTT over a post request, and then the other way is MQTT. So it uses MQTT one way and then a post request the other way. It's strange. So I modified that, and in the spirit of language models, I used cursor.ai to do it for me. So this is kind of the setup of what it looks like after modifying the application. So someone texts me, the spammer, they think I'm the victim, but it's actually them. They're the victim. And so that's received by the default messaging application. And so the gateway application listens for new message events. So I don't have to replace my messaging app. I just use the built-in one. It takes that, forwards it over MQTT to the broker, which is running on the server. And then I have a little Python glue logic script that connects it to the Olama, which generates the response, sends it back over MQTT to the gateway, and then the gateway sends it out to the spammer. So this is just a screenshot of the application, the log, talking to some spammer. The Python script, just to give a little overview, it's pretty simple. Like I said, it's just some glue logic. I don't have a really good picture of it here, but basically all it does is it looks at the message coming in, sees who it's from, and then logs the message. And then it basically feeds the last 10 messages to Olama so that it has some context. Instead of just replying to one message at a time, it can see the previous N messages to get responses that are more intelligent. And that's just stored in JSON. But the interesting thing about this is that I can, design different personalities to talk to individual spammers. And so here's an example of me experimenting in the Olama shell with like a college gym bro guy. So there's the prompt there at the top, and then this is me kind of playing with it, testing with some messages. So this isn't live yet. This is just me experimenting, but it's a really convenient interface. And so here's like the first victim that I started talking to. So I'll post this on the chat channel if you guys want to look through these. But yeah, so he's asking me about the property. Am I still interested? And I say, yeah, I'm still interested. So that's me. I'm just trying to trigger the chat. Like after receiving that first text, that's when I set it up. This is like the impetus. So now he responds, and then finally it starts with the language model. So my property is lit. It's got everything you need. Perk test is good. Utilities are available. Taxes are low. And then, yeah, I told the language model to accept any offer. So it's like always saying, yeah, lowball me if you want. I'll take anything, bro.
But the only use cash, it feels like
No, when they say cash, that means that it's cash that you have on hand. That is not a mortgage.
Okay.
Anyway, so my bot offers to sell for 20K. I mean, this is like a 10-acre property. I think it's probably worth more than that.
I don't know, bro.
Anyway, so yeah, it hallucinates some random email and like a phone number that starts with 555, which is, I think, invalid, right?
Wait, actually, why does it never turn to this reply?
There is some bug where like it receives each message twice. I fixed that later on. But the people don't care. Like they don't even notice really. Yeah. So I'll just skip down really quick. Like there's one, the bug got really bad at some point, and like, here's one where it said 5 messages. Oh yeah, so this is a different persona. This is like an old British guy. But anyway, yeah, there's like 5 different messages there to one question, and then they're just like, sure. So anyway, yeah, there's some other ones. I'm still like working on new personas. So if you guys have any ideas for new personalities to play with.
Someone who's open to be cash because they want to be like off the grid. Someone who's like okay with it all being cash because they're super off the grid.
Okay, like
That's
a
why I
survivor,
really
like a prepper guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to like actively run it.
Yeah. But I have it so that it whitelists. I have to whitelist a number before it'll respond. I do have it turned on for some of my friends and like some people in here. I think they figured it out pretty much immediately, but I'll probably have to turn off the stream. I don't know of a way to like censor numbers there, but we could maybe try it. I don't know. It might be hard. Well, the scammers are, they're not working right now, so they wouldn't respond, but. Yeah, MQTT, I keep putting 3 T's. There are only 2 T's. MQTT, it's a pub-sub framework, which means like publication subscription framework. It just is a way for machines to talk to each other. So you can think of like a TCP socket, you can have 2 machines talk to each other. With MQTT, it's like a layer. I think it's implemented on TCP, but you'll have a bunch of machines, they'll all connect to a broker. And then if any machine sends out a message, it can say, it can publish to a specific topic, and all the other machines can choose whether or not they want to subscribe to that topic. And if they're subscribed, then the broker will forward them the message. And if they're not subscribed, they won't get the message. So you can, it's usually more useful in a situation where you have like lots of devices. But in this case, there's only 2 devices. So I'm mostly relying on the features of like the reconnectivity and like the retrying features and stuff like that. It was just and also mostly I use it because there was someone else's library that implemented it already, most of it. Yeah. Yeah, so I did think about that afterwards. But this was just more complete. I mean, it did what I wanted better right in the background. But yeah, you could probably use the SMS matrix bridge, and that would work really well too. Any other questions? Yeah. I have another project that is less. It's less trolling spammers and more just I can talk about it. I don't have a document. Maybe next time, but it involves ham radio. So I did do a similar thing over ham radio where, instead of someone talking over SMS, it's someone talking over the radio, over amateur radio, and then my workstation has its own radio connected to it, and it has speech to text, which feeds into Olama, and then Olama feeds back into text-to-speech, and then that plays it back over the radio. So it's kind of like Alexa over amateur radio or Amazon Alexa. I can maybe do a write-up on that. Yeah. So I have, yes, the answer is yes. Sure. Yeah, I think doing spam calls is more complicated potentially. I'm not sure if you can hijack a call using Android APIs and then reroute it somewhere. I'm not sure if that's possible. With text, it seemed to be straightforward, but for calling, you'd have to like accept the message, start the call, and then send the audio somewhere without bothering the user. And I don't know if Android can do that. Yeah, I mean, if you want to have a separate number, sure. But if you want to use like your phone, then I'm not sure. You could certainly. I've thought about.
You can receive SMS on your computer and forward to your phone. Over matrix or something.
Sure. I guess if you wanted to do that. Yeah, I mean, you could always replace your default dialer application with like your own that does whatever you want. But then you have to develop a full dialer application or use an open source one. I've thought about that too. It's a lot of work though. Like Android development is hard, or it's annoying at least. Sure, maybe. This was straightforward. I mean, someone had generated the project and it built already, so that helped a lot. I just used like Gradle command line to do the building, so that was convenient. I don't know if Cursor would be able to generate the whole project from scratch. I feel like it probably wouldn't. Anyway, that's it. The code is on GitHub if you guys want to do it yourself. Okay. Well, they're always remote. Like they just want to move to email, and then I wouldn't necessarily call them scammers. They're more spammers with like legitimate offers, but they're just not. They're really lowballing everybody, I'm sure.
They're mildly annoying.
Sure.
Unsolicited.
Yeah. I'm sure the first few messages are probably like this is probably sent automatically to everybody, and then they wait for a response. What? Well, it blocks that specific number. Stop is like a carrier implemented feature. So when you send stop, I use AT&T, and so AT&T will see the stop, and then they'll just block that number if enough people. What?
Your carrier not there.
It's like your carrier client side, but there's a whole mechanism with the FCC where you can report numbers, and that helps, I guess, in some way, because they'll collect enough records where there's enough spam reports coming from specific companies providing these VoIP numbers. I think it helps, but I'm not sure. All right.